Let's get started with our first story of the day. Belal Muhammad has his eyes set on a massive showdown with former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. Yes, you heard that right. Belal wants to fight Usman next, but there's a catch. It all depends on how Usman performs in his upcoming fight against Joaquin Buckley at UFC Atlanta. In a recent interview, Belal shared his thoughts on the potential matchup and broke down exactly why he believes the UFC will set it up. If Usman gets the win, I think that's the fight to make, Belal said. If Usman wins, there's no other matchup that makes sense. Belal acknowledged that Usman has been putting in the work. He's been posting training footage, looking sharp, showing off his physical condition, doing push-ups, moving well, and trying to send a message that he's still got it. But despite cheering for Usman, Belal isn't entirely convinced that the former champ is going to get the job done. He looks good, posting videos, showing he can do push-ups and stuff, but let's see what he does against a guy like Buckley, Belal said, and he makes a strong point. Joaquin Buckley is no joke. He's young, he's hungry, and he's coming in with serious momentum. Stylistically, he might just be the worst kind of opponent for someone like Usman, especially after such a long layoff. Remember, Usman hasn't fought in almost 2 years, and in a division this stacked and competitive, that kind of inactivity matters. Buckley, on the other hand, has been active, improving, and racking up wins. He's confident, and he knows just how important this opportunity is. Buckley's hungry. Stylistically, it's a tough matchup. Usman's been out for 2 years, and Buckley's active, with momentum and confidence. He knows how big this fight is. Belal believes that a loss here for Usman would be devastating for his legacy and his ranking in the division. At this stage of Usman's career, one more big setback could be the final blow to any remaining title hopes. Losing to Usman could set him back big time, Belal added. I'm excited. I'm cheering for Usman, but I think Buckley pulls it off. So what does this mean for Belal? Well, if Usman wins, Belal is confident that the UFC will finally give him the high-profile matchup he's been chasing. But if Buckley pulls off the upset, Belal may have to look elsewhere. Either way, this fight at UFC Atlanta could have massive implications for the welterweight division, and Belal Muhammad is watching very, very closely. Second story of the day, things are heating up in the middleweight division. Dricus Du Plessis, the reigning UFC middleweight champion, has made it crystal clear if Khamzat Chimaev pulls out of their UFC 319 title fight early, he will not fight backup opponent Nasruddin Imavov. This announcement has stirred up some serious drama in the lead up to what's already one of the most anticipated title fights of the year. The UFC recently announced that Imavov would serve as the official backup fighter for the UFC 319 main event, meaning if anything happens to Khamzat, Imavov is expected to step in and challenge Du Plessis for the belt. But Dricus isn't having it. In a recent interview, the champ was respectful, but blunt. He praised Imavov's style, calling him a talented and dangerous fighter, but questioned whether he deserves the shot if Khamzat withdraws early in camp. I'm a fan of his style. I think Imavov is very, very good, but let's be honest, his track record? Not great, Du Plessis said. 8 wins, 6 pullouts? That's almost a 50% chance. That's not how I work. Dricus emphasized that he has been preparing specifically for Khamzat. The strategy, the mindset, the intensity of the camp, it's all tailored to deal with Chimaev's unorthodox, aggressive style. For him, a late switch to Imavov, especially with several weeks still remaining, just doesn't make sense. If Khamzat pulls out 2 weeks before the fight, sure, I'll fight Imavov, but if it's 4 weeks out, I'm not doing it. I trained for Khamzat, I want to fight the best. That's the key point here. Du Plessis believes that fighting Khamzat is the true challenge. Imavov, in his view, is still in the mix, but hasn't earned that same level of threat. He even pointed out that Imavov recently beat a fighter Dricus already beat in dominant fashion, making him question what this matchup really proves. Imavov deserves to be here. He's the number #1 contender, but he beat a guy I already beat. I want to fight Khamzat, but Imavov didn't take those comments lightly. He fired back on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, with a sharp response of his own. Thanks for the compliments, Dricus, but you're not Jon Jones. If something happens, you're not gonna block anything. If you're not ready to defend, leave the place. That was a bold message, and it shows Imavov is ready and willing to step in, no matter what happens. Now, all eyes are on UFC 319. Will Khamzat stay healthy and make it to fight night? Or will this war of words turn into a real fight between Du Plessis and Imavov? Either way, the middleweight division is on fire. Moving on, Kevin Holland makes a huge statement at welterweight, submitting Vicente Luque via Darcy choke in round 2. Kevin Holland added another slick finish to his resume Saturday night, tapping out the always tough Vicente Luque with a beautiful Darcy choke in the second round. The submission wasn't just smooth, it was clinical. Holland's transition, control, and squeeze showed exactly how far his ground game has evolved. Analyst Luke Thomas summed it up simply: Holland belongs in the welterweight division. Others chimed in too. UFC lightweight Terrence McKinney tweeted, "Let's go," cheering on Holland's impressive performance. Chael Sonnen threw in a more layered take, saying, "Makes you wonder how good Reinier de Ridder is," referencing the one championship fighter who previously submitted Holland, suggesting if Holland is tapping Luque like that, then de Ridder's skill level might be even higher than we thought. Even Derek Brunson, who once fought Holland, acknowledged Kevin Holland. Always entertaining. After the fight, Holland stepped up to the mic and delivered a calm but confident message. He admitted he was originally hunting for a knockout, but he's more than happy with how things ended. "I felt good. I expected to knock Luke out with my hands, and there's nothing better than that, but I'll never complain about a submission." Holland explained that he's been putting a ton of work into his grappling, especially focusing on no GI training over the past couple of camps. "My whole grappling career was in the GI, which is weird for an MMA fighter. These last 2 camps I focused on no gi, and it's showing." Then he dropped a little personal flair, referring to the Darcy choke as his own creation. "Whether it's a Darcy choke or anaconda, I call it the dark man choke. I can hit it from anywhere. Side control, half guard, top or bottom, doesn't matter. And what's the key? The secret? Get the head down, cut off the air. Once I feel that pressure, I know it's over." Holland also touched on his future in the welterweight division. At 170 pounds, he feels like it's the right move for both his career and his family. "I'm getting older. I've got 2 kids now. I've got to be smarter with money and career choices." Then came the call out. Colby Covington. Holland wants to prove that he can beat elite wrestlers, and he thinks Colby is the perfect test. "Colby Covington is a wrestler, a good one with cardio. I think I can beat him. Colby, I keep saying you're an easy fight. You're not, but you've been inactive and haven't beaten anyone in the top for a long time." And finally, in true Holland fashion, he had one more jab. "You think you get all the baddies? I think I get better baddies than you do. We'll see." Kevin Holland is back, evolving, and hungry for big fights. Next up, Merab Dvalishvili submits Sean O'Malley in the 3rd round. In a stunning performance that shook the bantamweight division, Merab Dvalishvili submitted Sean O'Malley in round 3 and solidified his place at the very top. The fight had been one of the most anticipated matchups of the year, with O'Malley entering the cage as the flashy fan favorite and Merab as the relentless grinder known for his pace, pressure, and durability. But this time, it wasn't just pressure, it was precision. Merab didn't just overwhelm Sean, he broke him down round by round until the finish came in the 3rd via submission. The MMA world lit up immediately. Former champion Petr Yan, who's had his own rivalry with Merab, wasted no time calling him out on social media, posting, "Merab, let's go." Jerry Prochazka kept it short and respectful. "Congratulations, Merab. Beautiful energy." Even UFC president Dana White reacted, posting a single hashtag that said it all. # and still Ariel Helwani tweeted, "Merab submits Sugar in the 3rd, and still, the guy never stops. A real machine." Henry Cejudo took it one step further, calling Merab the bantamweight GOAT, while MMA Guru echoed that same statement. Merab is the bantamweight GOAT. He submitted Sean in round 3, and Sean was fighting with a torn labrum. Even fighters outside the division showed respect. Johnny Walker posted, "Merab just gave a masterclass. Say what you want. He's the GOAT. Proud of you, brother." Gilbert Burns also shared his congratulations, applauding the grit and dominance Merab showed inside the cage. Terrence McKinney jumped into matchmaking mode, saying, "Merab versus Corey Sandhagen next. Let's do it." But Sean versus Sandhagen also sounds like fire. Cub Swanson chimed in with just 3 words. "Merab is amazing." But the most emotional moment came after the fight, when Merab spoke to the fans with his heart wide open. Overwhelmed with pride, emotion, and gratitude, he said, "This is the good life. Thank God. Hard work paid off. I feel great. healthy, happy, not hungry anymore. He reflected on his journey, one that started with nothing but belief and a dream. I'm on top of the world, a world champion. I came from nothing. I'm so grateful to inspire the next generation. And then came the message to dreamers everywhere. It doesn't matter what you have, only that you know where you're going. Believe in your dreams, follow them, work for it. Everything is possible. If I did it, you can do it too. Merab's win wasn't just a title defense. It was a message to the world that with heart, discipline, and faith, anything is possible. The bantamweight division may never be the same again because the machine isn't slowing down. And finally, Ilia Topuria's team sends a chilling warning to Charles Oliveira ahead of UFC 316. With the lightweight title fight just weeks away, the MMA world is buzzing with anticipation. On June 28th, Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria will go head-to-head in one of the most explosive stylistic matchups in recent memory. It's a clash between the seasoned submission artist and former champion, and the undefeated surging phenom with one-punch knockout power. But it's not just the fans building the hype. Topuria's camp is brimming with confidence, and they're not holding back. In a recent interview, Ilia's striking coach Jav Clement made a powerful statement that sent shockwaves through the lightweight division. With a look of both awe and intensity, he said, "This is the first time Ilia's preparation disconnected my nervous system. I was forgetting combinations." The sparring sessions they showed us, he's going to make a masterpiece on June 28th. That word masterpiece is bold, but it speaks to the kind of performance Team Topuria is expecting. According to Clement, what Ilia's been doing in camp isn't just sharps, it's otherworldly. It's the kind of form that makes coaches forget the game plan and just watch in amazement. And this isn't coming from just a hyped up trainer trying to boost his fighter's image. Clement is a seasoned technician. He's trained killers, but even he admits Topuria is different this time. More focused, more violent, more precise. Right now, the odds are starting to reflect that confidence. Topuria has moved into betting favorite status, with fans and analysts taking notice of his clean record and brutal finishes. The undefeated Georgian Spaniard has steamrolled through every opponent so far, and now he's aiming to add one of the most decorated lightweights in UFC history to that list. Still, Charles Oliveira is not a man to be overlooked. With the most submissions in UFC history and wins over names like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler, Do Bronx has proven time and again that he thrives in chaos. He gets dropped, he gets hurt, and then he finishes you. That's what makes this matchup so dangerous for both men. But Ilia's team believes the chaos won't come. They believe it'll be one-sided. Ilia's going to shut down the jiu-jitsu, shut down the kicks, shut down the heart, Clement said. This is his era. This is his legacy starting right here. With just weeks to go, both camps are locked in. Charles is quietly preparing, likely brushing up his ground transitions and tightening his Muay Thai. Ilia, he's sharpening every tool like a blade. June 28th is coming. Will Topuria deliver his masterpiece? Or will Oliveira remind the world why they call him Do Bronx? One thing's for sure, someone's legacy will shift forever that night.